David Coburn, UKIP MEP for Scotland. What do you think about this mural? Do you find it offensive?
Well, yes, but I think more importantly, I think it's insulting to the over 14.7% in some areas and 10% in others who voted for UKIP in the election in Scotland, the European election, which UKIP won comprehensively. We had the largest group in the European Parliament. I think it's rather offensive to them. It's trying to suggest that if you're not some raving socialist, that you're some sort of Neanderthal. You know, sort of the working classes don't take well to being told by frilly-cottered individuals, that middle-class individuals, that they don't know what they're talking about. And I'm sure, actually, in some ways, it probably recruit more people. You know, people are just going to say, "Oh, so you think I'm an idiot, do you?" Well, you know, basically, so what? I'm going to vote even more for UKIP, and that's what's going to happen.
Is Nigel Farage aware of it? What's his view on it?
Well, Nigel doesn't claim to be any art critic, but I'm sure the artwork itself is pretty dreadful. I think he thinks as I do, that it's pretty offensive, and also probably libelous. But you know, sort of, if I were the Bishop of Edinburgh, I wouldn't want to be risking my collection plate that hard-working parishioners have put money into, putting up offensive and possibly libelous paintings, but whatever. He obviously has his own mind on these matters. I think that the church should keep out of politics. The last time it was involved in politics was the Reformation. It didn't all go entirely according to plan. So, you know, I think the church also, in general terms, have got so many problems with scandals, paedophilic scandals and goodness knows what else, that, you know, quite frankly, going around throwing mud or throwing insults at a political party that may well hold the balance of power at the next election, or indeed be the next government of the United Kingdom, I would describe as particularly silly.
Isn't this just freedom of expression?
Well, it's freedom of expression, but to liken Nigel Farage to Sir Oswald Mosley and Adolf Hitler, I think that's way far off the mark. I mean, we're a libertarian party. Nigel's a pretty decent bloke. I've known him for many years. He does turn up at church on Sundays, some Sundays. I mean, he wouldn't claim to be the best Christian in the world, but he is a Christian. I think to suggest that our party is in any way like the Nazi party is not only deeply insulting, but, as I said, offensive to the vast number of people who voted for us in the election.
The church, I'm told, says that they're dealing with people's concerns and they're reflecting people's concerns over immigration and UKIP's policies therein. What's your view on that?
Well, I discussed it with the Bishop of Edinburgh, and quite frankly, I think it was quite clear that our policy is less racist than any other party's policy. We are the only party who do not want to discriminate against people outside Europe. We don't care where they come from, what their race, creed, or colour. The other parties just want flooding people coming in from Europe, but we want to make sure that we have a points-based system like Australia. We want to choose the best people we need for our economy, not just from Europe, but from anywhere in the world, India, whatever, not just from Europe. And quite frankly, that means that our policy is much more broad-minded than anyone else's. So how they can think that we're some sort of racists or we're against immigration, but what it's about is economics. We've got to make sure that we keep the health service. We've got to pay for that. We need to know the numbers in order to pay for the health service. Same with retirement salaries. It's not a question of anything except economics. The bishop doesn't seem to understand that. I presume the priest in the parish doesn't seem to understand that. What can I say?
Do you accept that your party's position, just briefly, your party's position on immigration raises concerns for people, and perhaps this mural is a reflection of that?
Certainly not. It doesn't raise concerns. Most people are very concerned about immigration because they're worried about the health service, they're worried about their pensions, they're worried getting to see their doctor, they're worried about education. It's nothing to do with racism or anything like that, or any xenophobia. It's purely and simply economics. Everybody knows that, and it's been seen by, well, what can I say? We won the European election. People like UKIP. We're winning in seats in the north of England. We came within 300 votes of taking a rock-solid Labour seat in the north of England. You know, It's just a lot of socialist clergy who simply don't know that, and they do not understand the message of Christ. And quite frankly, they should take the beam out their own eye before they start looking for motes in other people's.